Gentlemen, welcome back to MGTOW Money. And today's topic is going to be the bubonic plague of our generation, the cancer that is infecting so many men, and evidently, based upon the comments that I'm seeing on this forum, so many MGTOW out there. Before we get to that topic, which of course is student loan debt, this of course is MGTOW 2.0. This is the second wave of MGTOW. We're not going to be discussing the gynocracy. We're not going to be discussing politics. If you want to learn about those types of things, please, there's lots of other channels for that. And oh, by the way, let me mention something on politics as an aside, just so that you know my perspective. I spent years in public politics. I was involved in political campaigns. I did public speeches. I've done petition signatures. I was very, very actively involved in that type of work. And you know where it'll get you? Nowhere. It won't change anything. I'm speaking from experience. I'm not some unknown guy sitting behind a microphone. Yes, I might be anonymous to you, but believe you me, I've been there. You're not going to change anything. So, with that said, if you're a MGTOW and you want freedom, you've got to master your money, and that's what this channel is all about. It's about being a MGTOW, mastering your money, then you'll get freedom. It's about practical, actionable things that you can do on a daily basis. So with that said, let's start with the plague of our generation, specifically student loan debt. I haven't had student loans in years, and I emphasize that years and years and years. But I went back, I've done a lot of research on this and really thought about this and looked at the statistics that there's $1.3 trillion in student loan debt as of 2016. You'll find all these links in the description, of course, to all this information, so you don't need to take any of this, my word, for anything. With that said, this is a very, very serious issue for the entire United States. And what I do have some ideas. And with that said, let's kind of break it down into three categories. And this is going to be roughly by age, because that's how this is going to fall. If you're below 18, if you're younger than 18 or maybe about 18 and you haven't gotten into college yet, this is what I recommend. Avoid at all cost all student loans. Stay away from all student loans. Just say no to student loans. Here's some ideas to do so. 1, think about going to community college for a couple of years, at least 1, if not 2 years. Those are relatively inexpensive. That is a great way of getting yourself into college and being able to avoid student loans. Point number 2, look at some tuition-free colleges. Yes, there actually are some colleges where the tuition is free. For example, a college that I'm aware of, I didn't attend, but evidently has a very good reputation, is a college of the Ozarks in Missouri. But there are other colleges around the United States that are tuition free. Again, Google this, do your own research, but there's a couple of ideas for you. A third idea might be if you can get into one of the service academies. They provide an excellent, superb education. What I'm talking about, of course, may be West Point, the Naval Academy, the Air Force Academy, etc. These are ideas for you. You do your own research. Again, if you're not in college, I can't say it any more strongly, stay away from student debt. Stay away from student loan debt specifically. If you are in college, the first words, of course, going back to what I just said before, if you're in college, do not take on any student debts. Do not take on any student loans. Don't do it. It's far worse, in my opinion, than heroin or crack. It's like it's on steroids, effectively. If you are taking on student loans, stop doing it. Put down the crack pipe and stop doing it. If necessary, I highly recommend, I think you need to give some serious consideration. If your school tuition is that expensive, you need to transfer schools. I've done it. You can transfer schools. Your credits will generally move with you to another school. I highly recommend, if your tuition is that high, you think about transferring schools. Another idea that I might have, if you insist upon staying at your present school, in particular if it's a private school, which generally has very high tuition, you look at taking some of the classes in the night school program. Specifically, the night school program provides you the same facilities, a lot of times the same professors, etc., but at literally 1/3 of the cost. I'm speaking from experience with that. I have my degree from a relatively expensive private school. And yes, if you go through the night school, you will get that same degree from that same school. My last idea, although many of you aren't going to want to hear this, maybe you just need to work more. Sorry, I know it's tough, but maybe as opposed to working 10 hours, you got to work 20 hours. Again, this is all about options. You're going to make the choice. You're a MGTOW, but don't ever think you don't have any options. You do have options. Let's move on to our next group. This is a group, let's say they're early to mid-20s. You're out of college now, whether you've gotten your degree or not. You've got some student loans. This is where the rubber meets the road. I presume this probably applies to the majority of you. The first thing that you need to do, the very first thing that you need to do, you ought to do this as soon as this video is over, is list all your loans. List every single one of your loans. It's amazing when I'm reading some of these profiles of people with student loans today that they have 15 student loans. Boggles my mind. Needless to say, list all your student loans and you're going to do highest to lowest. Highest to lowest. Also, I want you to indicate whether it is a federal loan or is it a private loan. So you're going to need to differentiate federal loan versus private loan. Secondly, another piece of information you need to get is the dollar amount of the loan now, not the loan amount when you originally took it. What is the loan amount today? What is the balance on the loan? In addition, what is the interest rate? Again, links into the description where you can get to a database that it has all your loan information there. Now, you've got that information in front of you. Now you can focus. Now you have a list of all your loans. Assuming, I'm making that assumption, that you are current on your loans, I'm going to highly recommend you do the following. You pay off the smallest balance loan as quickly as you possibly can. Focus all your energy on paying off the lowest dollar loan that you have as quickly as possible. Regardless of how low the interest rate is, just pay off the lowest one because you want to get your confidence up, you want to get some momentum building, and you want to feel like I can get this done because you can get this done and you will get this done. Continuing on, if you have significant debt, now when I say significant, I'm talking, let's just say $35,000, $50,000, $100,000, which evidently, based again upon what I'm reading, is not uncommon. I would highly recommend that you consider going into some professions that can offer loan forgiveness. Yes, there are various restrictions on this, but you can actually get loan forgiveness after making 120 payments, a la paying 10 years, 120 payments. Some of the professions that you might want to consider are something in healthcare in a rural area, in a more economically depressed area. Going into the military, I think, is an excellent option for some of you. Civil service job, meaning you go into some sort of federal, state, or local government type job. You could be a firefighter. You could be a policeman. You could work in the IT department for the county. These are some ideas. Another idea, maybe you get into teaching. Again, specifically in a lower income area, there are teaching opportunities. Another idea that I have is looking at income-based repayment. Depending upon your income, if you have relatively low income, let's just use round numbers. If you're a single man, you're head of household, in other words, it's just you're living alone, they do have some opportunities for you. If your income is low, let's just say $25,000, to get into some sort of discretionary type of payment arrangement where it's only a percentage of your income, of your discretionary income. Again, it's up to you. Call up your loan servicer and discuss that with them. Ask them what options that you have because, yes, you do have some options. Another idea, if you're able to pay on your student loans, don't just pay the minimum. Pay a little bit more than minimum. Ideally, even make bi-weekly payments. In other words, as opposed to making monthly payments, make bi-weekly payments because the bottom line is you want to pay extra. You want to get these things paid off. You want to pay toward the principal as quickly as you possibly can because unfortunately student loans are just like a mortgage and it can be years and years and years and effectively you're just paying mostly interest. And you've made years of payments and you've just been paying on the interest and you still have this huge principal even after 10 or 12 years. So with that said, Again, ideally, make the standard payment, make extra payments as quickly as you can. You know what to do if you're low income. By the way, there is an advantage. If you're low income, there is a forgiveness period that goes out to 25 years. So that's something to consider. Although if you will have to make payments on a regular basis, etc., at least it gives you some window of opportunity, window of hope, if you will, that after 25 years, they're going to write the entire thing off. The last thing I would mention is you do have the option. I'm not recommending this. I am not recommending this, but you do have the option of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy will probably not wipe out your student debt. Bankruptcy highly unlikely will wipe out your student debt. However, if you have credit cards, if you have other types of loans and that type of thing, it could potentially eliminate those and allow you to focus more of your money on paying off your student loans. Again, you need to do your own research on this. This is a very difficult topic. Student loans are not easy to deal with. There's a lot of complications here. I cannot give specific advice tailored to each and every single individual's issues. With that said, let me wrap up and say, just like I spoke before about get rich quick, there is no get out of debt easy with student loans. It doesn't exist. Do not let anyone tell you, oh, it's easy. All you have to do this, all you have to do is get a forbearance, or all you have to do is file this form or whatever, and it's easy. No, student loans are not easy to get rid of. They're not. Sorry, that is the truth. But you do have options. Review the links that I put in the description. Now, do me a favor. If you found this information helpful, I'm building this MGTOW army. And because I'm building this MGTOW army, I need you to share this channel with your friends, post it on forums, hit the subscribe button now and the like button now if you found this information helpful. Until next time, John Galt out.